welcome to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dubston, and it is our weekly I Ching overview for the week commencing the 27th of November, 2023, the last few days of November and the first few days of December. So as we work every week with these hexagrams, we ask the I Ching, what do we need to focus on for the week ahead? And I cast the coins and we work with applying what the I Ching is bringing to us to stay in flow and to find our place, our rhythm, and our path to growth and prosperity. So before we do that, for the week ahead, let's just have a recap of last week. We were working with Hexagram 31, influence. Remember those toes, the calves, and the heart? We were being influenced by things. We were being called to do something. We were feeling inspired and connected to something calling us forward, a relationship, a connection, a give back, a project. Something was coming up to our awareness, and there was quite a lot we were working with on how to follow the influence and when to know it's not for us. How do we work with this? Where do we come to it in the right way that we get this beautiful energy of influence and work with it? Plus, we had Hexagram 5 waiting, realizing that which we seek is still coming, still on the horizon. We have to get ready and prepare while it is culminating and manifesting for us. So as you worked with last week, were your toes twinkling? Were your calves wanting to run? Was your heart unsure as to what to do? The influences that it was trying to understand? I had that for sure. Absolutely. So if there was something that came up for you in the week in working with that, please do share a comment. So let's get into this week. The I Ching, what is it asking us to zoom into, to hyper focus on as we maximize our week? Well, it is a return, okay, of a hexagram from the week before last, because we have hexagram 3, difficulty at the beginning or sprouting. This hexagram has come back, all right, and it has a returning changing line. So we know when we see these patterns, okay, the first kind of brush with the hexagram, there were layers peeling off, and then here we have a chance to go back over the same territory, to go and rework with the ideas that we had the week before last. So it'll be a great exercise for you to connect with what was happening then in that week and what does it tie into to this week, because there's a pattern here. Layer 1 comes off, layer 2 comes off. We are not yet done with the growing that we were needing to do with this hexagram 3. This is the hexagram of all the sprouts, all just popping out of the soil all at once and having to deal with looking after the crop. Okay, I spoke about all the eggs hatching, right? All the chickens, all right. No dreams of chickens for me this week as I had for that previous episode, but I already started to feel this hexagram a few days ago. So it already started to come back in as another layer. And maybe for you, it's already working through your life right now. Hexagram 3, sprouting, says the seeds we planted, the soil we've created are manifesting all these sprouts, right? All these things popping out all over the place, all these challenges and growing pains that are coming to bring our awareness, right? And everything happens all at once, as it does. Our important focus with this hexagram, what we really are being asked to pay attention to, is getting onto our feet, okay? Getting our foundation in place, stabilizing what it is we're here to do, because we are, as I used the analogy before, building the ship while we are sailing. So if that is the case, right, we are learning while we're doing, we are going through a very intense review cycle, and as we are learning, we're kind of putting what we're learning back into the ship. In order to not sink, okay, we do have to have the essentials of a watertight vessel in place. So when we think about this idea of the foundation and the ship, building it while we're sailing, we think about, your keel, your rudder. I mean, I don't know much about ships, so, you're going to follow me in here. But putting together the thing that is watertight, that's the basics. Okay, the bare basics, the foundation, that is what is important. Okay. All the, fandangled things, the very ornate captain's cabin, and fancy, flags and all the adornments, right? This is not the time for that. We have to focus on the foundation. And we have to keep on learning and apply what we learn back in. Learn, repeat, do. Learn, repeat, do. And we have to go through this process of applying under a lot of pressure with this hexagram. Usually it does bring a lot of surge of energy all at once. Sometimes a lot of difficulties and challenges, but they all come up because of a learning cycle. And how we handle that learning cycle is we focus on the foundation. That's what's really, really critical. As I said before, it is a wonderful energy, right? You can finally see that actually there are things happening that are, evidence of the work and the direction that you've chosen, whether that's in a work situation, personally. But now we're going to deal with it. Now we are the little foal that's just been born, right? Maybe we've started something new. Maybe you have embarked on a new phase of your career, of your life, a new relationship. And here we are with this foal that's just been born, and we have to get on our feet. We have to demonstrate to our tribe that we have survival skills. We can get up onto our feet quickly, and we can take it from there. Our feet are our foundation. So staying on your feet, do whatever it is to keep that idea of staying on your feet, getting up on your feet, getting up and running, getting up and sailing, the least amount of drama, with the most amount of focus on that foundation to make sure that you can keep sailing and keep doing. This is not the time to, sit back and reflect and review what was done before. We are in it, okay? This week, we are in it. And because this is a repeat, we are in it double time, okay? The process is out the gate. We have left the shore. We are now out at sea. We can't turn around and turn back. We have to keep going, and we have to keep on building. So we have 2 changing lines this week. One that we had the week before last, and a new one. So it's in the 2nd and the 5th position. If you remember, okay, the 2nd line, right, the horse and the wagon part. Oh no. Here it is again. So for you, thinking back to the week before last, okay, the horse and the wagon, what did that represent for you? And perhaps for you this week, this line is focusing your attention on another area where things have become disconnected. Okay, we can't get our produce to market because the wagon has been disconnected from the horse. Okay, we can't move forward. We are somehow stuck, disconnected, separated, and there's an obstruction. There's a challenge. And so our task is how we work with this line, as you remember from the week before last, is the way we work with this, okay, is we don't rush in to quick fixes, okay. If help comes along, right, we evaluate it and say, would that be a solution that we would choose for the long term, okay, and not feel pressured into making a decision now for that help or for that alliance or for that, method of resolving this disconnect. Will that be a solution? Would that be a solution? We would choose, if we had no time pressure, okay, and we weren't sailing the ship and building at the same time, if we were sitting down and we were looking at how would we approach this in a way that would be sustainable for the long term, would that be something we would do? It's a great way of framing up this changing line. I was saying, would this be the right alliance, the right partner, the right solution, the right fix for the challenge or where there's a disconnect? Would we choose that for the long term, and would it continue to create value? Okay. It might be a quick fix, all right? And this line says, try and avoid reaching into solutions and accepting help where either the party seems kind of completely random. They've come along to offer help, but they're not connected to the situation at all. There's kind of a disconnect with the disconnect. Does that help make sense for the long term? Would you do this if you took away the drama of the moment and you sat down calmly and you'd make a choice that was a long-term good choice? Would you do the same thing? And this is what this line is just getting us to reflect back on. It also means that if help comes along and it's a good long-term help, is to not see the help as an outlaw coming to take our stuff, okay? That can also be an aspect of this line. We have to look at partners who come into the situation not as enemies, all right? We have to be an open mind around the data that's in front of us. But this idea of the long-term solution is really, really important. It's not about rushing in. to fix the horse and cart. Okay, it's actually about accepting that there might be a bit of a disconnect for now, but we're not going to try and rush in and solve it now. So that moves up to changing line 5. Okay, so both 2 and line 5 in a hexagram are usually quite a stable structure because they're in the middle of the 2 trigrams, bottom trigram, top trigram. In changing line 5, those kind of difficulties have evolved a bit, and what we find in the challenges as we've moved from 2 to 5 is that we actually have found a place, a space. We've found a connection to something that's meaningful. We've kind of become aware that we've found this place where we are able to move forward, where we are able to create and manifest. And we found our little niche, right? We found our little spot where we can build and where we can take this energy of sprouting, right? And we can build upon it and we can manifest and create the things that are going to be enduring and add value to us in the long term, to our teams and our businesses as well. But this line is an interesting line because it's not yet a time to go, wow. Okay, it's not a vocal line. It's not a line where we broadcast that and we start expanding. There's a sense with the line of realizing, I found my place. I found a place from which I can do this, where I can add value, where I can make a meaningful impact. I found this place. But it's not yet time to broadcast that and be vocal about it. Because there's a sense here with this line that there's things happening around us where you'll be misunderstood or people just won't get you just yet. So it's just live with that feeling and live with that awareness internally. Don't make any moves, right? But it's a place of reaching awareness. And that is what the I Ching has brought to us this week, of seeing in our personal lives, right, where the sprouting is happening, where the challenges are, where we are building the ship while we're sailing. Look at those challenges, right? And just say, I found a little connection, I found my place, I found a way, I found an avenue that as this evolves, I'm going to be able to create what it is I'm here to do. But we don't just run into it just yet. We just sit with the awareness that we have found the spot. Okay, great. Isn't that wonderful? So those are our changing lines. How they evolve, okay, how they take us forward, different energy, okay, into hexagram 19. This is our victory hexagram. This is our path to overcoming and mastering this week, okay. This is an energy that is sitting as a energy coming in behind, working with hexagram 3. Hexagram 19 is approach. You can think of it as the approach of spring, okay. This is a power coming in to greet and bless something of a lower. So it's a higher energy coming in to help and bless the lower. Okay, so we are the lower. And this is this big energy coming in to come and bring us a blessing. The idea of spring, the spring thaw, coming in is a wonderful way. And I often talk about this idea if you are, a little fish in a pond that's frozen and you've been, frozen all winter. And spring comes and the warmth starts coming and everything starts to melt. There's this big power coming in to kind of bring this energy, this turn of energy. And as this little fish in the pond, you are not reaching out to seize this energy. You are embracing it and letting it thaw you out. Okay. So think about that image when we work with this week of where this energy is coming in. Be aware of it. Okay. This turning around, this flow that's kind of starting to thaw and warm things up. It's not a quick energy, but our task is to open our arms and welcome it in. Okay, we're the fish in the pond, right? We just welcome the thaw and we welcome the blessing and we just let it come and we just stay open to it. Stay open to what is coming. And with this hexagram, you know what I often think about, and I'm sure you have had this experience where you've had a goal or you've had an idea in mind and you've been working towards it and you're working towards it. And sometimes it doesn't always work out in exactly the same shape, size, or nature that you had intended, the vision that you had in your mind. Normally, we look back and we see what actually transpired and we say to ourselves, I got a lot more than I could possibly have visualized for myself in the situation. I actually got a much bigger blessing than what I was aiming for, even though the package came in a shape that I was not affirming, okay, slightly different. So this is what I see when I see this hexagram, is that sometimes when we are very goal-focused, manifestation, right, affirmations, goal charts, all that kind of thing, we get the blessing, but the blessing sometimes comes in a different shape. And this thaw is coming, this gift, this blessing is coming to work with us this week to raise our awareness of where that blessing is flowing, even if it comes in a way that you do not expect. All that is way better because the power coming in is beyond what we can understand right now. So an interesting week where we are recapping and re-going over ground. We have walked recently. We are working with that changing line. The horse and the wagon is coming to work with us. And for me, I know that a couple of days ago, the thing that was the horse and the wagon the week before last has come up again, okay, and it's come up stronger, okay, and more clearer than it was the week before last. And perhaps that's happening for you too. Good luck working with this week's hexagrams as you build that ship, right, as you work with keeping focused on not running ahead, but just recognizing where you feel your place, your space, your connection, where you realize the horse and cart are needing connections, but not feeling compelled to fix it right in the moment. And of course, opening your arms to that beautiful thaw of spring coming to bring a blessing. Thank you so much. If you got value out of this episode, it'd be great if you could do a like, a thumbs up. We're really cool. Thank you. And if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing, hit that bell to get the notifications of new episodes. And if you're on the podcast version, hit the follow button to get the episodes into your app as they land. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you at the monthly episode. Yes, December is coming. Thank you so much.